All right, good evening, everybody. My name is Tal Schnell. I'm here at the Lead with Giants TV, and this is segment two with Kary Oberbrunner. And Kary is the author of the Turning Day Job to Dream Job Practical Steps of Turning Your Passion into a Full-Time Gig. Kary, thank you so much for joining us to segment two here.
Thanks, Tal. Thanks, Liz.
All right. And we'll do just kind of a quick introduction here at this show. I was hoping to have also Barry Smith with us, but I know he's busy. He's a friend of Kary. So let's go around a little bit here. I introduce my co-host, Les Stinselli. Go right ahead.
Hi, I'm Liz Stinselli with Stinselli Advisors, and I'm happy to be back for the second segment coming to you from Salt Lake City, Utah.
All right. And Kary, tell us where you're hanging out from, sir.
Columbus, Ohio.
All right. You've been there for a while, a little bit?
I've been here for about 13 years.
13 years. So this is home for you then.
Yeah, it's becoming that way.
No choice. But Liz is still at her day job, just so everybody knows. I just want to mention that. So let's dive right in here. Start with, and by the way, this is the book for those of you who haven't seen it. That's Kary, did it come out already, or is it coming out in August?
It's pretty much hitting the market right now. So
okay, good.
A few places it'll ship. Yeah, definitely.
All right, so let's talk about you share 9 practical steps for people to move from their day job to a dream job. In your conversations with people, when you go around the country and you coaching, speaking, listening, probably better, is what do people have the hardest time with? What is their maybe psychological hurdle? Sure. Or maybe another resources that just kind of stop there at their tracks?
Yeah. Well, I think the first step is that they have a desire that they want to break free from their day job, but they honestly don't know what their guru status is. They don't know if anyone will pay for their services or their products. And so there's this fear that, well, what can I offer other people? And that is a big hurdle. The reality is that every single person has what I call a GPS. You've heard of GPSs, right? It helps you navigate. There is something called a GPS within your moving day job to dream job, and it's called Guru Positioning Story. What do I mean by that? Guru Positioning Story. You guys familiar with The Biggest Loser?
Yes.
That show?
Yes.
That's the one with Jillian.
Yeah.
Her around. Jillian's just one example of somebody who positioned their story in a very brilliant way. She basically has a GPS. I'll give you the quick story. Jillian was an overweight young high school gal. She was called Muffin Top. She hated going to the lunchroom. It was a place of fear, teasing, horror, came from a broken home. So what would she do? She would hide out from the kids in the library, in the classroom, these types of things. What happens? She gets into martial arts. She becomes disciplined. She begins to do a life change, loves fitness, opens a few gyms, and then was tapped to be on The Biggest Loser, and now she has a multi-million-dollar brand, everything from video games to apps to DVDs, the whole thing. What Jillian has done is she's taken her guru story. In other words, the story that went from pain, right, to prize. People will pay you for this. People will pay for a product or service that you can offer if you position it as part of your brand. You guys ever see that YouTube video with a guy who couldn't walk and he was on a cane, and it shows him like barely being able to walk in the beginning? He was a paratrooper.
Mm-hmm.
And then he basically gets into yoga, and then they show him in this transition of trying to do yoga, and he's fallen over, and slowly over time he loses 100-some pounds, and at the end of the video he's running. The YouTube video is called Never Give Up. Arthur Borman is the gentleman. Guess what Arthur Borman is doing now? He's no longer in his day job. He actually is a keynote speaker for yoga.
Wow.
And, and he is a spokesperson all over the place for yoga. What Arthur Borman did is he has now positioned his guru status in a very convincing story. He's an example of the practical guru clan. There's 5 of them. We don't have time to get in all of them, but another one is celebrity, another one is called synthesizer, another one is called academics. But everyone on this call, everyone listening, is technically a guru in something. And if you're not sure what it is, your customers won't pay you any money. People don't pay me because I look good. Why? Because I'm bald. So in other
Right.
words, they're not going to come up to me and say, hey, people say I should work with you, but I don't really know what you offer. Hey, I'll just pay you. No, no, no. You got to know what your guru skill is and be able to position that in a powerful way. A great tip, Tal and Liz, is what are people asking you for advice on? In other words, it's probably so easy to you. Like you guys are doing a Google Hangout chat or something. I don't even know what you're doing. You're doing something awesome. You know that what you can do, very practical. You take any skill that you know and you break it down into a framework. A framework is simple steps within a process. And guys and gals, I can give you client after client after client examples of someone who didn't know they were good at something, but then they broke it down into a framework, simple steps, and then they packaged it and were able to monetize it and go pro.
It's inspiration to a lot of people because I think that's where people kind of get stuck is that they have this idea in their head but don't know how to create the platform or the frame that you're talking about in order to get them started. So if somebody comes to you and they say, well, you should should be a coach or maybe public speaking coach or something, and then they don't know how to take that step to get to where you're saying is now let me turn it into a career, a job, or something that really can be really more than any other time right now. We have the resources and we have the ability to do it if we wanted to. So
Totally. Just today I was sitting with a client at a seminar I was giving, and he raised his hand and he said, I do voiceovers, but I don't know how to monetize it, and I'm just starting out. And I said, did you try Fiverr? And the guy's like, no, 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 I don't want to get paid $5. I said, hang on, man. I just paid someone several $100s to do a voiceover. It's because you get started on Fiverr, and then you say if you want more than 20 seconds, that's $15 more. If you want a personal consultation, that's $25 more. By the time you're done, your little gig on Fiverr can be $85 an hour just because you added extra gigs. People have gone pro, literally braiding hair on YouTube and putting out free videos. I call this the Jimmy Dean sausage approach. Just like you go to a store and you get a free sample of something, you end up buying the whole thing. People need to position their guru status in a freemium way where people can sample it and then engage in a more thorough way if they desire.
it's great. I think you opened up a lot of mind by that. Let me turn over to Liz to see if she's got a question for us.
Sure.
Okay, Kary, we know that fear is a huge obstacle when it comes to leaving your day job for your dream job, and you talk about your why must be bigger than your fear. Can you maybe give us some pointers on becoming comfortable with our fear, comfortable enough that we can move beyond it?
Yes, definitely. I'll go back to the Shawshank example for a moment. Andy Dufresne was in jail, and notice he didn't just want to get out. He wanted to get out because he had a very clear vision of what breaking free would allow him to do. It would allow him to go to a Mexican town called Zihuatanejo and open up a charter fishing service for people and he dreamed of going to the Pacific Ocean. In other words, the only reason Andy was able to break free is because he knew what breaking free would create for him. Many people who are stuck in their day job, if you ask them, they're not really sure what they want to replace with that day job. Liz, I don't know if you have kids. I know I have kids. And so lots of times I use this example. If a mom sees her kid in a house that's burning, is she afraid to go save the kid? Some people say, no, she's not afraid. I say, baloney. She's afraid. She would be afraid. It's fire. She would be afraid to run in there. But she acts in spite of her fear because her love is greater than her fear. When we can create the love for the dream first, then the fear diminishes. I don't agree that you're ever going to eradicate fear. It's scary. I went pro with 3 small kids, and I had a safe, secure job with health insurance, benefits, titles, everything that I could ever ask for, but I wasn't fully alive. The only thing that helped me break free and go pro was I got really clear on what I would be creating and what that dream was. Then it wasn't as tough.
Fantastic example there. Thank you.
Good, good.
Kary, you speak about clarity, and I think that's one of the obstacles for many people to get clear and specific to jumpstart that dream job. It's in their mind. They haven't really come up with some steps. They're not really clear. They don't have the clarity.
Yeah.
Any suggestions?
Definitely. You know, again, I use Shawshank because I actually wrote the book in Shawshank Prison, Tal and Liz.
Mm-hmm.
It's 90 minutes from my house. It was deep, symbolic to me, and so I wrote it within there. But let's use that as an example. When Andy knew he wanted to break free, he didn't just go out to the prison yard one day and jump over the barbed wire fence. He would have got all cut up. Too many times, day jobbers romanticize, oh, I just need to go in and tell my boss I'm done. That's the worst thing in the world you can do. Andy got very serious about a plan. His plan involved a team. He had Morgan Freeman and others. It involved tools. He had that little rock hammer. He had that poster that could kind of block anybody from seeing what he was doing. And he had time. And he used that little bit each day. What day jobbers tend to do is they say, if I can't invest hours a day, or if I can't just do this full time, I'm not going to do it. Most people I know who make the switch, it's slowly over time. They have a plan. In the book, I give 9 steps. There is no hype here. I didn't want a book where I wrote hype and said, you know, let's all go pro and let's do this and let's be crazy. I knew fathers, mothers would be reading this book and they'd be taking their family in jeopardy if they don't do this thing right. So I took it really serious and wrote 9 proven steps that worked for me. I've also taught these within my dream job boot camps as well, and it does work. It teaches you how to build a team. It has job assignments for your dream team that you're going to create. It talks about how to create a platform, how to create products if that's on your heart, how to design your service, design your space. It is literally a roadmap so that you don't have to feel like, I don't know a clear path. We'll give you a clear path.
Great, great. This is excellent, and I want to close this up because we had an amazing session with those thoughts and give people the opportunity to dive in a little bit further. So, Kary, talk to us about where people can find you and your resources.
Sure. They can go to dayjobtodreamjob.com, dayjobtodreamjob.com. And Tal and Liz, this is such a passion of me and my team. We bought a bunch of books, cut them down in the half price, and during this special launch period, which we're doing, people can get the book at a crazy, ridiculous price, and we throw in 200 pages of our dream job plan that's all connected with videos. It is super slick, and you get that for $6.99. So it is kind of over the top, but here's what I know. It's not acceptable for 86% of the population to feel that stress that you talked about in the beginning, to feel like they're going to burn out, That's not cool. That has a toxic effect on families, on friends, on workplaces. And so we really are passionate about having people be in the spot where they feel like they need to be.
Awesome. Great. Thank you, Kary, for being on the show. And Liz, thank you so much for co-hosting as well.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much.
All right, great. And for those of us that it's gonna be obviously a recording that you can watch later, and we'll put that in our social media, leadwithgiants.com, and we're all social media out there: Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Google+. So please find us. I think we're growing, becoming almost one of the biggest communities out there for leadership. So please join us there. So that's it, folks. Have a good night.